huge website for financial clearing, full of acronyms, codes, settlement identifiers, and vague institutional references, and all of a sudden, you see a strange string of letters hidden deep in a maze of technical listings. In our made-up story today, that mysterious code starts an idea that spreads quickly. What if this random D, TCC number, led to a filing for an XRP ETF? There is no real-life link like this, but this made-up moment is the start of one of the most exciting what-if scenarios in the XRP community. The story makes this finding sound like a shocking secret, the kind of thing that gets people excited right away online, even though we want to make it clear that everything we're going to talk about is just a story made up for fun and learning, not based on real events. As the dramatic beginning ends, the story explores a different reality in which BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world, files a groundbreaking XRP spot ETF, shocking the financial world and sparking a lot of interest. Analysts are rushing to figure out what the move means for big investors, liquidity, and the structure of the market in this made-up world. As newsrooms are filled with urgent updates and social media is ablaze with debate, viewers are taken through the psychological high of imagining such a seismic announcement. They are reminded of the excitement surrounding Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF proposals and asked to think about how it might affect the whole crypto landscape. This way of telling a story lets us look at how ETF filings really work, what the regulatory paths look like, and why some digital assets become the subject of a lot of speculation, catching the attention of both Wall Street and Main Street. The tone is still dramatic, but there is an educational thread that helps the audience understand how ETF approvals, clearing processes, and institutional custody frameworks really work. This shows how complicated and interesting these new financial ideas are. After that, the writing moves on to the second part of the fictional story. People in the community see a Larry video that has been digitally changed or made by AI as proof that XRP is gaining a lot of establishment support. We don't use any real people or misleading video. Instead, we talk about deepfakes, how they're made, why they spread, and how important it is to check sources. Let's say that in this made-up situation, the video goes viral online and starts arguments, reaction videos, and discussion lines. People are interested in how stories are told in digital finance groups, how rumors spread, and how powerful stories can be in changing market sentiment, even if the stories aren't based in facts. The story then moves on to the big institutional domino theory. Vanguard, Fidelity, and State Street are shown to be waiting in line, getting ready to file their own XRP ETFs in a race to be the first ones to do so. This gives you a chance to talk about how institutional competition works, why asset managers make similar goods, and the things that make an ETF successful. Even though none of these filings are real, the made-up situation lets viewers learn about how funds are made, how liquidity is provided, how custodial logistics work, and how difficult it is to launch new financial products. The tone stays emotional and tense, but the main goal is to entertain and teach at the same time. Let's take a look at what's called the domino effect theory as we move into the middle parts of this story. The main thought behind this is that in this made-up situation, just one approval for an XRP ETF could cause a chain reaction in many markets. There are people who call it a liquidity supercycle. Retail traders in this made-up story are picturing a huge short squeeze, huge institutional inflows, and a wave of global capital rushing into payment networks that are based on blockchain. The movie, uses these made-up ideas to look into how short squeezes really happen, what really makes institutions act the way they do, and why stories about endless liquidity tend to oversimplify how supply, demand, and market making really work. The script makes these crazy statements more like stories than real claims, so you can learn something while enjoying all the high-stakes drama. As the movie draws to a close, it paints a pretty clear picture of a world where community analysts are making price predictions that go over $1,000. All of them are based on very creative models of institutional inflows that are thought to be faster than Bitcoin's. Here, we'll go a little deeper into valuation theory, looking at not only the basics, but also the problems that experts face every day in the real world. We'll look at how real analysts actually model prices, taking into account both methods that are based on data and the fact that every choice is made by a person. We'll talk about what really causes assets to go up in value, including market mood, economic indicators, and even global events. We'll also talk about why speculative numbers seem to go through the roof during hype cycles, getting everyone's attention and leading to crazy predictions, the whole made-up goal of $1,000 or more. So this is a way for us to talk about the difference between predictions that are based on excitement and predictions that are based on real financial analysis. We will see how careful study and smart thinking can help us tell the difference between these two situations. Basically, the story uses this kind of made-up situation to show the difference between fantasy and reality. This helps you be more skeptical of market stories and big claims, but you can still enjoy the thrill of what-if speculation and the energy it brings to investing. In the last act, we take a step back, slowing down the story and leading everyone out of the high-stakes plot into a more contemplative ending. We talk about why people who work with digital assets are interested in these kinds of stories, because they honestly show hope, change, curiosity, and a deep desire to see the future unfold in big new ways. Here, we really want to stress how important it is to think about the information you're reading, check claims carefully, and understand the emotional factors that affect a lot of the financial talks we have online. The story goes from being very intense to being a bit more realistic, turning all that hype into real insight. Finally, the movie ends with a message that makes you feel strong and responsible, and it tells you to keep being curious and thinking critically. Today's story was just a movie-style look at what the world might be like if a bunch of very odd things happened all at once, creating a vivid picture of what could happen. There is no proof or reality to any of the ETF files, price predictions, or domino effects. All of these things are part of this framework for speculative storytelling that is meant to get you to think critically and use your mind. This article is meant to help you understand both the fun and dangerous sides of financial hype cycles. Let's think together as the music gets louder. You are welcome to join the chat. In today's world, where things are always changing, what would formal adoption really look like? How should buyers look at online information? What tactics can help get rid of the noise? What other things should we talk about as a community in the future? In a long-form experience that captivates, inspires, and explains without misleading, the tone stays dramatic, interesting, and creator-friendly. Do not forget that I am not a qualified financial advisor. The things that are shown in these videos are entirely for entertainment reasons. Before making any financial decisions, I always tell my viewers to do their own study and talk to professionals. Thanks for listening. Do not forget to hit the follow button and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, make sure the alerts are on so you know right away when I post something new. In the next movie, I can't wait to catch up with you. Be careful.